Peace and blessings with love and respect. This is Mr. Muhammad, the lead dean over at the University Heights Junior High School. Again, these videos that we are doing are structured for those frequent flyers that I identify every week. Those 3 to 5 frequent flyers that I identify, and our theme is based on self-analysis, self-examination, and self-correction. Or those frequent flyers are those scholars that I have helped with personal or academic goals. Those scholars that I have at some point, mentored during the school year, and either those scholars that have spent some time with me in the refocus room. Again, before we get started, today is April the 28th, Tuesday, 2020. And again, before we get started with our topic for the day, I just would like to send my prayers and condolences to any of the UHCS family or scholars that have lost loved ones or friends due to this COVID-19 or coronavirus epidemic. It's a very trying time for all of us. There are things happening every day to us personally or collectively. So it's a deep time of reflection and refocusing to look at your life, to analyze the things that matter the most. Today, I would like our scholars to deal with this topic of self-analysis. And again, the 3 components that we've been dealing with is self-examination, self-analysis, self-correction. But during this quarantine, we've had time to stay sheltered from the community. We've been asked to stay in our homes if we weren't essential workers, meaning that we need to leave the home to go to work to provide some type of service, whether we're a doctor, nurse, or some form of clinician, or some people are just essential workers that are needed in the community. But our topic today is self-analysis. And there are 3 questions that I want the scholars to entertain or that pertain to this video. The first question is, what have you been doing during this quarantine to maintain your focus? The first question is, what have you been doing during this quarantine to maintain your focus? The second question is, what strengths or weaknesses have you learned about yourself during this quarantine? The second question is, what strengths or weaknesses have you learned about yourself during this quarantine? And the third question is, what will you do? What do you plan to do when the quarantine is over? What do you plan to do when the quarantine is over? Those are the 3 initial questions that I would like our scholars to answer. And then I want you to give me a summary based on this question. How can we as a community do better by each other once the quarantine is over? The summary question is, how can we do better? How can we as a community do better by each other once the quarantine is over? So again, our topic is self-analysis, and there's no greater discovery there's no greater challenge that we will face in life, scholars. And that challenge is dealing with self-discovery, strengths and weaknesses, self-analysis, self-examination, and then making self-corrections in our lives. It's easy to point the finger at somebody else, but it's hard to look in the mirror and make the changes that are necessary to make us progressive in life. So again, my prayers go to all of us in the UHCS family. Scholars, I do miss you. I look forward to seeing you in the very near future. But unfortunately, like I always say, our safety and well-being is more important than anything during this time. So again, do all the things that are being asked of us, the social distancing, the hygienical things, and I look forward to seeing you in the very near future. Peace and blessings with love and respect, Mr. Muhammad signing off. Have a great day.